Hey everybody, in this video I want to talk about a few updates that I did on Canvas as well as the course syllabus. So here we go. First thing is under Module 3 and Module 4, I added module participation. So there's Module 4 participation, Module 3 participation, and then we'll continue to have this component up to Module 7. So there'll be one for Module 5, Module 6, and Module 7. As you know from the course syllabus, it's stated right there, attendance policy and course participation, which involves all of these things that you see here. So that's what I look at. Module 4, for example, your participation would involve looking at this page right here and then clicking on all the links that I provide. So there's module 4, course materials with the different items there. And then there's assignment 5. My thinking behind looking at assignment 5 early on, and this will be the case for all your assignments, even though they may not be due until later past the module time period, my thinking behind that is that it's good to know the details early on so that you're not caught by surprise by any of the instructions on there, like the requirements. Assignment 5, for example, has an additional component in addition to actually writing the paper, and that is to set up a time with the writing center to go over your work with them so that they can help you with your research and writing process. Now, if you looked at the instructions before this video, you might remember that there was this big graphic about the shut up and write focus writing groups, which I also talked about in the video provided in the instructions. Well, it turns out that since fall 2023, there hasn't been enough demand for that to continue through the spring 2024 semester, so it's no longer an option. However, according to this video right here that I also provided in the instructions and talked about in this portion of the instructions, you you have three options to still work with the writing center. You could do in person, where you go in person, and then there's remote e-tutoring where you meet virtually live to go over your work. And then there's online, which is what many students did last semester, where you email your work and then they submit it. So take a look at the video for more details on how to work with the writing center. So going back to assignment 5, the whole idea of participation. So yeah, that's the whole idea there, is to look at it early. And another component of participation is for you to respond to any direct communications, whether that's a something that requires a comment back if I leave feedback in your, if I ask a question, for example, in your assignment submission comment, or if I message you directly via inbox, or if I email you using your Outlook account. And then there's also submitting any kind of assignments that are due during the module time period. So essentially, it comes down to just being active in the course, because it is possible that, you know, as I've seen in the past and even this current semester, it's possible that students will not look at Canvas for 2 weeks. And that's just not the best way to go about doing the work for this class, because there are so many components to it. Oh, one more thing. I was going to move on. I forgot. Assignment 5, I also changed the due date. Yay! I extended it by 1 week. So it used to be due March 4th, but now it's due March 11th. And part of that is because I wanted to help you all out. Uh, Let me back up. This is related to assignment 4. Assignment 4 was due a few weeks back, right? And as I asked and mentioned in the course syllabus, I need at least, in many cases, at least 2 weeks to look over everybody's work, because I have at least 90 students this semester, and I've probably already talked about this in another video, where if you do the math, with even one submission per student, and let's say 15 to 30 minutes, that could add up pretty quickly. And when I have other things that I work on, and then also when you add getting sick like a couple of times the last 3 weeks, it really, the effect is that it really just puts me behind. And when that happens, I also mentioned in the syllabus that I will communicate with you that I would need more time. And that's what I did last week. And as it turns out, despite my best efforts, I still need a little more time, hence this communication right here. You might notice though, for some of you, you're like, what are you talking about? I got my assignment 4 graded. Well, great. I got to your assignment. Now I need to work on the other. So if you're still waiting, yeah, you ended up in the group that I'm still working on that. Now, I did also mention two things about my grading. If you would like to know about, if you would like to discuss, that's what I was trying to say. If you would like to discuss your assignment for sooner than later rather than waiting for me like right now, it would be just a matter of setting up a Zoom appointment with me or setting up a time to meet in person here in my lovely office, or for us to talk on the phone, or for you to just email me and let me know, hey, I'd like to know sooner than later. I mean, that works for me. Otherwise, I would just go student by student or class by class, student by student, submission by submission. So if like your last name ended with a Z, then yeah, you'll be last in line, right? But if you email me, yeah, I'd be happy to jump ahead because I that's kind of how I determine what I should work on next, just to help you out with that process. But because I extended the deadline by 1 week, hopefully that'll give me time to uh, somebody walk by. That'll give me time to grade your paper, and then also for you to have an idea of how it is that I go about assessing your papers. So there is that. Okay, going back to the core syllabus, the last item I want to talk about, the last thing I updated. In looking at the core syllabus earlier this or late last week, I noticed that I used the word engagement, but then in Canvas I say participation. So I wanted to connect the two, that that's the same thing. And discussion boards are three at 20 points each, so that's 60. And then engagement is 10 points per module up to module 7, so that's 70. So 60 plus 70 is 130. However, I listed it as 135. It could have been a typo, but it didn't matter because the points here were also all messed up. And so I updated that. With these updates, go ahead and delete your version that you downloaded if you did that, or if you printed this. This really is the only thing I changed in the core syllabus, so you could trash this page and then print this out again. All right, that's what I have for this video. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.